Right, welcome back to another episode of Ear Candy with myself, Danny, and today in the building we've got Kenny Mgee.
All right, how you doing?
I'm all good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm
Right.
very excited to come on today.
Good. I've been chatting to you on Instagram and that, and you've been like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, can't wait to get on. Can't wait to get on."
It's,
So,
it's exciting, you know. I feel like, I'm 17, obviously, so I feel like I've been at a lot of rap shows and met a lot of people, and I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are kind of quick to not shut me down, but I would, opportunities. I appreciate basically everyone that comes to me,
It's all
and
right.
a lot. I don't know how we, I don't know how we started, but I guess I'll just start. Yeah, I'll just start talking about myself, really.
just say whatever you want. I say it to everyone. It's your show. It's not
Yeah.
mine. I'm just here just to chat shit with you.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can say whatever you want.
Okay, so so I started making music. It's kind of weird because I always just did it as like a joke. I took music tech in school since like S2, and I didn't really interest me at first. But when I took it onto S3, I wasn't even supposed to be taking it. It was like, but one of the classes I wanted, they couldn't fit me into, so I got put into it instead. Obviously, very happy that happened. But I don't know, there was just like an environment where there was loads of people I knew, and we were just like, the teachers didn't seem like, they were like the laid back teachers. Like,
Yeah.
obviously when you're in school, you have like the teachers that you liked, and they just didn't really care as much as long as, some sort of work was getting handed in.
Yeah.
So after I was just picked up the talent of, I guess, putting like, we had to do like projects with like animations and stuff, and we had to put sounds over them, and I just got good at it, I guess. So then I don't know, it was just kind of
So
like,
what's that, like video editing then?
yeah. Well, it was sort of. So it was like the first one we had to do in S3. We got given like some like Disney film with no sound, and we had to go and record and like download sounds and like mix them all to make it sound like how it
was-
did originally.
yeah.
And I just kind of like picked up the skill of like mixing and stuff, and it just like, I did it at home. I just really like doing it.
That would actually sounds fucking amazing, that idea of giving someone a silent film to put music over it. Like that's actually a really good way to
Yeah.
learn. I've never thought of that.
And the thing that was cool about it as well is just because, I don't know, there was really no rules as long as you could, like, they had like a checklist of stuff we had to, like, effects we had to have, but it was kind of just like I made mine just funny, you know what I mean? I just wanted to like do stuff, and eventually when it got into the point where we had to like make a song or make this type of, it wasn't a song at first, we had to make like a poem, which, I obviously made it rap related, you know. I made like we had to make like this sort of like short story supposed to be for kids. I made one about like a rapper. I took it from like some inspiration from like the film 8 Mile. It's like a rapper trying to come up in his area, and then he was like going about like or rapping and stuff. I don't know. And because I was always just like a big fan of rap, and eventually we picked up the skills to like mix. And I don't know, like, I mean, my friends over here, they'll tell you, like, from like lockdown and stuff, we would just make songs as like jokes. And obviously because we picked up the skills from like school, so we just every night we'd come into like a call, and we'd be like, oh, you know what, 15 minutes, let's go make a song each, and we'd all play it, and basically whichever one like made us laugh.
How advanced is the sort of music classes in school now? Because see, when I was at school, it was literally just keyboard, drums, and acoustic guitar. That was it. Like, what have they got in schools these days?
I'm not gonna big it up like it was like the best thing ever, but I know a lot of. I was surprised by like the amount of schools, like, because I go to college now, so I talk to a lot of people, and I'm surprised the amount of people that didn't have the option as music technology as a class. But it wasn't like the most high tech thing. We used a software called Cubase, but I also used a software called BandLab.
Right.
And like, I mean, it had all of the effects. Like, you could, I think it is like a decently professional software where like people do use it in like the real world. And yeah, like it had, I mean, for just learning, it easily like had all of the effects you would need and stuff. It was pretty high tech, I'd say. And obviously, I mean, I don't know, what would you guys say? Would you say it's like you could like get a lot?
Cubase is good.
Uh-huh.
Cubase is good to start with. I don't think it's bad. It's used for a lot of film music.
Yeah, which is probably why we're using it, because it's like, more
Have
for
you ever
like,
messed about with FL Studio before?
I have it installed. This man over here, he's more of like a producer type. Like, he uses it more than I do, but he's teaching me a bit. Because the thing is, I know I mix all my music,
Right.
but I've kind of been interested in beat making, but I've just never been. It's one of those tips where things where it's hard to like. I mean, it's like, hard to learn it, or it's probably less hard to learn it, but it's just like I keep getting fed
No,
up
but the
with
thing
it.
is, like, if you're already used to some sort of software now, like, obviously there'll be quite a steep learning curve, but at least you'll know the basis from the stuff you've learnt now. Like, for example, when I first ever got into like music making, it was on GarageBand because I was on Mac.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like the bee's knees. And then I found out about FL Studio, and that's when I realised how restricted I actually was just with the software, just with it being on Mac. And then I got a PC, like a Windows PC, specifically for FL Studio. And didn't get me wrong, like when I first opened it up, I was like, holy shit, like really overwhelming. But if you know the basics, you're just all you'll need to do is spend like a day or two on YouTube watching tutorials.
Yeah, of course.
Or for stuff that you want to do. Like I like making hip hop beats, so I learned how to like sample and fine tune, and I mean it's going to be boring sounding stuff for folk that don't know what all that is. But for me, it was exciting. Bit of synthesizers and stuff as well. Some of the VSTs you can get for it were just amazing. I like my 80s music, so you can get stuff that sounded really 80s, like your chords and your moves and all that. So that was cool. But I would definitely suggest if you ever get the chance, check out FL Studio. But just take some time to learn it first.
Yeah. I feel like I've tried to like learn it a couple of times, but it's just it takes a lot of patience, and I definitely have it. But it's just I always feel like it's just let's just take 10 steps back for a minute. You know what I mean? Like focus on other stuff. I mean, I'll get into like what tastes I like and stuff like that soon. But the way it worked with like making music is that I would use I still kind of use it quite a lot to this day. I feel like it's quite maybe people look down on it, but I use BandLab purely just because I can take it. I go in and out of college and out of home. I can take up my phone everywhere.
Is that like a web browser?
Yeah, it's weird. It's one of those things
Sanjeev was talking about.
Yeah, because it's one of those things. Because it's like it is on a web browser, right? And so you'd assume it wouldn't be that high tech, and it obviously. Things like FL, you can get way better mixes, but I mix all my stuff myself, and I don't really think I'm at the point where I'm going to get other people to take hold of my music. I don't know if I ever will, because I feel like I have a sound that just fits me. But I have a funny story. There was like like a couple of people have like been like, oh, mixing, because everyone thinks that mixing is like the craziest thing. It is important, but at the end of the day, if your song's good, then your song's good. But mixing doesn't improve it. And I've been doing it on BandLab, and a couple of people have been like, oh, you need to spend like £200+ on a mix for like your song to be good. And I'm like, well, not entirely. So there was like this guy I was speaking to, and he was saying that. So I sent him one of my mixes. I said, oh, I spent like this much money to get it mixed, which I hadn't. I just mixed it at home on my computer, and he's like, oh yeah, bro, it sounds so much better than that last one you sent me. And I'm just like, well, that just shows you, because I feel like every time I put out a song, I ask my friends, does the mix sound alright? And they're like, yeah. Like it probably doesn't sound as good as like, I don't know, like what every big artist is doing, but I think for myself, it just works for my sound.
Yeah, the thing is as well, you're restricted to what you have. Like as much as when I think about stuff that I've made personally, it's never going to be at the level of like what my favorite bands are, because they've got millions and millions of pounds that they can put into.
Yeah, I've never really gotten budgets to do with music. I mean, it'll take a while for me, because I guess I'm like younger. I barely even understand how money works. But
you'll learn. You'll learn,
of course. But in terms of like stuff, I don't think I've spent money on stuff around my music, but I bought my equipment and that's about it. You know what I mean? I mean, but for music videos, you see, like I bought like a camera. Like I bought like everything that I feel like helps me create, because I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you guys would agree. Me and my friend Jack over here specifically, we're definitely very creative people. I prefer to just be more hands on, I guess, with this stuff.
Did you do like your own music videos and stuff then?
Well, I would love it if you could film some more for me, because this guy over here wants to get into he wants to get into film school. He wants to be like a big like I'm gonna say director, but it's like this whole thing.
Well, how long is it you've been making tunes for then?
So I mean, okay, so there's a couple of things I could say. So properly making music, I started it, I'm gonna be honest, like end of last year was like when beginning of last year, 2023, that's when I really got serious. I was like, you know what, because I left school, I got an opportunity for college. I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do now. I would like to make music. And but I had been making songs, obviously what I was saying there, since I guess like 2020, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, 2020 onwards, because we're making like the odd songs. I used to be I used to make songs which are just funny, which I go back and I cringe at. I can't lie. Some of them are still out there, obviously. But I was young. I'm 17 now. I was like 14, 15 when I made this stuff. And I just, you're just saying nonsense.
The thing is, who was it? I heard some unreleased shit for fucking Eminem recently, and it was like something that had resurfaced, right? To him, it was probably cringy, but for someone like me, I'm listening and thinking like that's a genius in the making. So potentially it could be the same thing for you one day. You're listening to that and thinking, oh, that's cringy, but there could be someone in 20 years' time that's like, oh, he was a genius for day one.
Yeah, of course. Because the thing is, when I first started putting out music, I guess I did it under this. I don't really like the people in this anymore. Like, stuff happened and I had to leave it anyway, but it was something like a joke rap collective thing from all across the world. It was called Flex Entertainment, and I just kind of joined it, and I was just making joke songs, and like they'd been doing it for ages, and I got signed to it, if you will. There was no contracts. They just kind of
no money.
Nah. No, well, I made them. Well, I distributed my own music, so I made everything off that. Right, so I wasn't making that much. Right. But there was no like stipulations, and I did that for about a year, just over a year. But then eventually, the stuff happened with like the owner and that, and eventually I just realized it's like I can't just be sitting about with these people. I did really feel like they were holding me back, just because I mean they're all doing like the same old joke stuff over and over again, and I actually feel like I had like a creative vision that I wasn't able to express.
Oh, so you thought they were too busy piss arsing about, and you were like, I could actually do something serious here.
And they're still doing it, and they're doing okay, like views wise and that. But I just like it's one of those things that's like. They really didn't want me to like stop like hanging with them and like leave, but I felt like I just had to, because it was like at the end of the day it was like I was getting good opportunities at this time, because like, when I started it was 2022, and I will give them slight credit because when I released songs people did listen to them. I got like a decent couple thousand streams in that.
Where were you putting your music on at the time?
Just DSPs, like all the streaming services and YouTube. And I was getting some decent views, but it was just one of those things. It's like the songs I wanted to make, I just felt like they were, because I had to upload on their YouTube channel. I could do whatever I want with streaming, but I had to upload on their YouTube channel. And it was one of those things where it was like, I put a song up, and then straight after you'd have like Kenny Mgee. Like I released a song called like, this was like where I really made the decision. I released a song called Radnor, which I actually still really like. I did it with my producer. Shout out Cruelty. I know we've been watching this.
Shout out whoever you want. Yeah, but big everyone up.
Yeah, he's like Talon. He's from Wisconsin. We and him had made that beat, and I was really proud of that song. But then it got uploaded, and then like the day after, there's some guy called like, I don't remember his name. It was called like Young Fart or something stupid like that. And I was like, I can't keep, because they're just taking a piss. I'm really trying to do something. So I just kind of quit with them and just continued making like my own.
How have you got connections to folk in Wisconsin and shit like that? Because Mindset was saying stuff about he knew folk in America as well, and I'm like, how does somebody in Livy get connections with someone in America?
You know what's funny? It actually surprised me how many people, like, one thinks it's like a really, really crazy thing, and two, like, is surprised that you can like do that. I mean, I met this producer guy through like this Flex Entertainment thing. I only found them because like their songs went semi-viral because people like the song so bad, like you know what I mean. And I was like, oh, that's funny, I want to take part in them. But he was like really, really he still is like really interested in producing. I think he's really talented.
The thing is as well, like I can understand how you could collab with them. Like I've got a side hustle. It's a YouTube channel which is gaming related, so I make a few quid off of that on the side. And I've had folk from America and other countries reach out to me to collab with me, but it's just not something I'm interested in. But the music in particular that all you guys are doing is pretty niche. So it must be interesting that you have folk in other countries that are it's like I just find that, like, especially when Mindset was telling me, I was like, how is a guy in America making the same music as someone in Livy here, which is already quite a niche genre as it is already?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, the way I see it, it's like no one's ever going to think the same as you, but there's always going to be people that like what you're doing. They want to like, and like, they kind of think the same. And the thing was with him is that like at first I would just be like I just needed someone to make me beats. So I was like, do him. But then he like started, I'll say this right now, like he started sending me beats, like which he was just working on, because his mind is just constant thoughts going in. He I think what he does, that's what I do anyway, but he must listen to songs, gets like inspiration, and then he's like, you know what, I want to like make a song similar to this or something. Right. Obviously not copying, but just take some inspiration, which I do as well. But he'll send me a beat, and I'm like struggling at a place where I can remember it from, but I'm just like, okay, this is vibes from like Kendrick Lamar, or this is that vibes from like Danny Brown, something like, and he'll send me these beats. So then I'll use them. So I don't know, like me and him, we just like, back in the day, I used to just get him to make me beats, but then eventually, obviously, started sending them. And then since then, he's just been my go-to producer. He does it for free. I've told him if I ever make good money, he'll start getting paid. Obviously, you know, it might be a really good
selling
thing
him a
for
dream, mate.
And the other thing,
selling him a dream.
I mean, I actually think he could be up there with like a big producer. He's got like the right mind in that. And I don't know. I think we just need more people, especially in like the scene, to be thinking the similar way. In my opinion, strictly with music, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here, but it's like
Crack on, man.
Basically, for me personally, like as I've seen all of like these different areas I've been in, like where people making joke music, and then eventually I got pushed into the Scottish scene, if you will. Like I started going to like shows hosted by like Sanjeev and stuff. Really good with what he's doing, by the way. I don't know if he's seen this, but you know, he puts on basically every Scottish hip hop show out there.
He runs Hip Hop Scotland.
Which is amazing.
He's in it.
I've been booked in their lineup a couple of times as well, so I'm really appreciative of that. But I started meeting all these people, and the first one I ever went to, there was some guy performing. I won't say names, just, you know, I don't want to talk. I don't like talking bad on people, but you know, I'll just say, like, I went there and I thought he was a really good performer. I loved the song he was doing. Like, there was one song in particular which I actually did playlist, but I'll get to it. It's like, he was performing it, and I went to him after. It was a bit awkward. I was like actually just about to turn 16. I was like 15, and I was sort of making music, but I wanted to, like, you know, like I just wanted to meet some people and see where they're doing, because I wanted to be on these shows. And I went to him, and he didn't seem that interested, which, you know, you don't need to talk to me or anything, but I was like, yo, I really like the songs. And he was like, yeah, man. And then I was like, oh, would you, I was just, you know, it was like, oh, would you like to collab? And he was like, bro, I really respect this. You know, I'll help you, bro. I'll get you out. But what just wasn't what I'd hear. I would be happy if I know. I didn't want him to be like, oh, message me this and we'll
stringing
get you out
like
here.
leading you on,
But then I was like, well, here's the thing. At that time, I released a song with Rick Ross. Now, Rick Ross is a really big rapper, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And
I know the name. How have you released the song with him?
I'll get that in a second. But I told him this, and he was all of a sudden, it's like a light bulb went off. He was all of a sudden interested. Yeah. And I was just like, I'd made this song. Could you check it out? And he's like, Rick Ross. That was the guy that got me into music. How'd you get a song with Rick Ross? And I was like, well, I told him, you know what I mean? And he was...
Wait a second. See, is Rick Ross, is this the same guy who recently went on a podcast? Or no, he turned up at someone's live stream, and the guy who was hosting the live stream says, if you turn up, I'll give you $5 million. Is that him?
I think so. That does sound familiar.
And the guy, if it is Rick Ross, it might not be him, but the guy turned up and literally said nothing to the guy hosting.
No, that's Playboy Carti. That's
who it is, yeah. That's the greatest hustle I have ever heard of.
Yeah, I think he might be going back on it or something, but like, imagine getting
he had like a mask on and everything. Didn't say a sing. Was not
crazy.
Interested in the boy. The boy hosting it was a fucking wanker anyway.
Yeah, I feel like he knew what
he was only doing it for fucking clout, eh? Like, have a bit of self-respect.
Take the $5 million run.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rick Ross, I mean, he's like, I don't know, he made like Hustling, like every day I'm hustling. He made that song.
So that's him.
That's Rick Ross.
Okay, right.
He's like Miami rapper. And basically, everyone's always shocked when I say this, but it's like, it wasn't that hard to do. There's like a thing that rappers started doing beginning of last year. Some of them, and to be honest, it's like the artists I've worked with. I have a song with Gucci Mane out, and I have a song with Rick Ross out.
Right.
And
so can I ask?
Of course.
Right, you've got the song with them. Is this a case of you pay them for a verse, and then you put it into your song?
That's practically it.
Because I've heard that Snoop Dogg in particular, I seen a great video online, and it was this guy who reviewed every single feature. The Recoil guy, Recollect, the boy's name on YouTube. His videos are fucking insane.
It's like over...
And it was weird, in particular, was every feature, it turned out that like X amount of them were the exact same. Because he was literally just saying, right, give me, $5,000, I'll give you a verse. And all these features are the exact same.
You want to know what's funny? That's exactly what it is. I'll explain. So... these are like the thing is like with the artists. I have one with Gucci Mane, and I have one with Gucci Mane. I have one with Rick Ross. They're the artists you'd expect. They've not fallen off, but like quick bag. Their labels probably like, do this. Yeah, here's some money.
You would do the same though, right? You would do the same.
Look, the way I see it, there's no such thing as if you're. It's not like it's dirty money. It's good money. It's just maybe you're losing a bit of dignity.
The thing is, they're getting publicity from it, and obviously yourself, you're getting a bit of traction for it as well.
So that was what my thing was. was I paid a bit of money for the first one, the Rick Ross one.
How much? If you can say.
It wasn't that. I'll be honest, it wasn't that much. It was just under about 300, 500.
That's not too bad.
And the thing is, but like their verses usually, like if it's like an exclusive, I'll get this. If it's an exclusive verse, that's probably like 20k plus.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's exactly what you're saying. Other people can use this verse. That's why it's so cheap. But the way I saw it was like, okay, because then people can be like, oh, it's fake. But the way I see it, you're getting the same streams you would if it was like a real verse.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not paying 20k. And who else is going to be listening to the other songs? You know what I mean? It's like, I could put out a song of Rick Ross, and I don't need it. I'm just going to be honest with it. That's what I did. You guys could buy the verse as well. But if like I could totally just be like, oh yeah, no, I paid him for the verse and he sent me and it's all mine. It wasn't. It was same with Gucci Mane one. Like other people can use it, but I don't think it's that bad because you had to. It's almost like the way like the contract, like when you had to sign it and that. It's like you're remixing his song. So to me, that's kind of. To me, I think that's kind of cooler. You know what I mean?
The thing is as well, like. I'm sorry, but like, see if I was doing like hip hop or anything like that, and I had the chance to do that with like Dr. Dre, I wouldn't give a fuck if it's the same verse he gives to everyone else.
Well, exactly.
To say that you've been on a track, unfortunately, you've not been in the same like recording studio and that.
But like the thing is like those are like the reason I did it is because it was like Gucci Mane, big influence, Rick Ross, even bigger influence. They're just people I'll look up to, and I'll get to this now. It's like. I did the song with them just because one, it was cool, and two, it actually got me a lot of streams. I didn't make back the money I got, but the way I see it, it's like you're paying for the verse and you get a bit of streams. Yeah. Like the one I did with Gucci Mane got, I think it's sitting just under 40,000 at the moment, which that's like crazy. And to be fair, it's like I had like a peak of like 20,000 listeners. They did all drop off. I'm stickling about 2,000 now, but it shows that people did stay by. Like some people did listen. But I noticed that
with like YouTube in particular with the videos I put out is like when something comes out, it'll be popular and then you'll get X amount of traction for about a week and then it just drops off again. Like,
but it's
you need to make a comeback every now and then, eh?
It's normal. It's like I wouldn't want people being like, oh, it's fake or whatever because I don't have 40,000 listeners actively. It doesn't work like that, you know what I mean? But the reason I did the song of them mainly was just because I really look up to them. And one thing I'll say, I think about the music scene specifically in Scotland. That's why I respect people like you had Loth on, you had Mindset on, like even Sanjeev, he promotes a lot of like alt music, he promotes a lot of stuff I like. It's not even like it's my cup of tea. Like I'm not listening, like I'll be honest, I'm not listening, I can say it to them as well, I'm not listening to like Loth or Mindset's music, but I just respect it because it's different. And I think
you're pally with them as well.
Yeah, of course. So I'm obviously going to big them up, but it's like, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, I don't think maybe they'll like my songs, but they're not going to, you know, sit and listen to it. But the thing I think about Scottish rap in general, I didn't want to get, I'll be honest, I didn't really want to get into the scene. It just kind of happened. No offense, John, but Loth, it was you got me into it. Thank you so much for putting me in the shows and stuff. But, you know, it's one of those things, it's like, it was never a thing I looked out for. I didn't really want to be in the scene because the thing is, and I don't know if I'll get a lot of hate for this or anything, but a lot of it is just like, to me, samey. It's like drill. Do you know like drill music and that? It's a lot of just people like taking like what their roots are not too far, in my opinion. I mean, like the thing is, it's like, don't get me wrong, it's like anyone making music's a good thing, but a lot of it, one sounds the same. It's just like a drill beat, and it's like, oh, come and like chef you if you come near my block. It's like, I don't like.
It's boring,
it's boring, and it's also just like. I mean, what's it? It's like someone would be like, "Oh, Snoop Dogg smokes and he talks about weed. That's a bad influence." All this stuff is so much worse influence because I know people that like look up to these guys because they have like small followings in the scene, and it's just not the thing I want to be about. I don't see any of these rappers from Scotland talking about this stuff actually going anywhere outside of here. One sound like this is like I might get in trouble for not in trouble, but one the accent. I don't really have a Scottish accent. I don't know if you've been noticing that.
Where are you from?
Well, I'm from like a place called Balfron, near, I guess it's near Stirling. It's kind of sandwiched in between Stirling and Glasgow. It's just like a small town, like. But I live in like the country. I live in the countryside. I'm not gonna play up like I'm from, you know, like these like scheme areas and stuff. Like that's maybe that's another reason why I think differently. But I've been raised up well, you know, by my parents. They support my music.
Oh, good.
You know what I mean? And I just want to do it because I love the shirt. My main influences are Lil Wayne. He's my favorite rapper of all time. You can see on my shirt. Lil Wayne. Eminem kind of has to be there. I don't listen to a lot of his newer stuff, but he's like, white rapper, you
Yeah,
kind of have to.
yeah.
And then like Kanye, I suppose, ASAP Rocky as a recent, Kendrick Lamar, all these people. Like I love just like Tyler Creator as a recent. And the one thing I've noticed about
what was the group he was in again? What the hell were they called?
Tyler Creator,
Yeah.
Odd Future.
Odd Future.
Yeah,
I remember
and
them.
he's got
that
like,
was about fucking 12, 13
yeah,
years
it's
ago or
quite
something.
crazy. I obviously wasn't
Jeez.
listening in 2011. I was in primary one.
What was that song he had with the fucking I'm a walking paradox?
Oh,
thing,
Yonkers.
like- yeah, I remember that.
That
back
song
in the
still-
day.
I still
was
love that
fucking
song.
Mad. The video was crazy as well.
I'm taking inspiration from these people because a thing I've noticed recently, which I don't actually think I have yet, but people like ASAP Rocky, Tyler Creator, like there's something about them, like I guess a character, because they're not playing a character, but there's something that people like besides the music. I'll use an example. My brother over here, but just about the biggest Marilyn Manson fan ever, but he loves his music, right? But he doesn't love him just, okay, maybe not for the person here, but he doesn't love him just for the music. There's like a style, there's something about him, like he has like a poster from his wall, because it's like you want to represent, it's not just because of the music. He's got like an image, he's got something people want to look towards. Something like ASAP Rocky, he dresses really good, people want to dress like him. Same with Tyler Creator, he's like kind of weird, but people really like that. There's like, they've all got ideas off their character, and that's something that I feel like is really important, which I don't have yet, but I'd love to build. And like their sounds and their music is just different, and that's one of the things I feel like I have a problem with like a lot of Scottish music, like rap music specifically. Is just a lot of it does really just sound to me similar. I don't listen to drill, so maybe a lot of people hear it differently than I do, but to me it's like you could put them all in the same room, and it's like, well, who's you picking
Well, I
out?
suppose it's the sort of folk you find though. Like I know, like about 14, maybe less than that years ago, there was a period where I was like right into Scottish hip hop, and we had guys like 10Z and Technique and all that, Silver Tongue, who recently from doing this podcast I've reached out to,
Of course.
to get them in. I was surprised that even most of them were still doing music.
Yeah.
And from that I've like rekindled my love for like homegrown talent, especially in the hip hop. And I mean I love them. I swear by them. So it depends. Like they're more like old
They're like
school
boom bappy,
sounding,
though.
boom bappy, which is when it comes to
I like
hip hop
that
is
stuff more, though.
That's
I feel like
me.
it's-
But like if you were to say like, do you know any drill artists in Edinburgh? I would be like, I thought that was a London thing. Like, I know what you mean. I'm clueless when it comes to that kind. I'm out of my depth when it comes to that kind of music.
And here's one of those things as well. It's like I feel like a lot of people from Scotland, like in rap, they're really strict on accents. Like I've been in the studio one too many times where I've had someone be like, so I'd be like sitting there rapping like, I would love to rap right now about this one. I don't know, but like I kind of like talk. I put in a lot.
If you want to spit a bar, go ahead, man. You're all good.
I mean, like one of my favorite opening lines is like Drake Pound Cake, just like, oh, after hours in El Mino, a soda, just talking women and vino. That's how I rap. That's
Right.
just my voice just a little bit deeper. Because obviously when you rap, you don't talk in your actual voice.
No.
But that's actually like that for like the most part, that's how I rap. Or sometimes I'll pitch it up just a little bit. But my voice, there's not a whole lot of Scottish in it, and I don't know if it's just because of the way I brought up, but or anything, or maybe it's probably because I don't have like the Glaswegian accent.
Yep.
But there's been way too many times I've been in the studio with like rappers or whatever, and I was just like there because they wanted me on a song or they were recording. It's like, no, that sounds great, but can you please record that in your real accent? And I'm like, well,
so they want you to play up on the.
they want me
the
to be rapping with a Scottish accent, but I don't like. I feel like I talk more Scottish around like really Scottish people. Like whenever I'm at college, like some people who have like Scottish accents, I feel like I'm faking it. You know what I mean? Because it's like they think I'm faking my actual thing, but then it's like you feel like you have to. And like to me, it's just like, well, I feel like I kind of have a little bit of an advantage because the way it is with like Scottish music and like not music, because like Lewis Capaldi's like one of the biggest artists of all time. Like he's like the third biggest song ever, but he doesn't sing in a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
I don't think the accent's that big a thing. I think it maybe matters too much to some people because I think like worldwide you wouldn't see like a lot of
I've
people.
often
with,
thought
accents.
like, especially like hip hop in Scotland, where I feel like a lot of the messages that the guys are saying are great, but there's a part of me that feels like it is the accent that's holding them back, because from outside of Scotland you might struggle to know what certain words and that mean.
Yeah.
It's the same with me when I listen to like 90s like American hip hop. Like certain words I don't know,
no,
but if you've got a mind on you, you know what it is that they're saying, you know.
I mean, like, in the same way that I feel like I struggle to, I guess, rap in a Scottish accent because because I don't really have one. They probably think the same because it's like, how can I tell them to fake their accent? You know what I mean? But because it's the exact same thing. But I don't think it's like that important. Maybe there'll eventually be a Scottish rapper that'll become just as big as like everyone that I previously mentioned.
I would say something about being a Scottish rapper in particular is you'll be lucky because you'll be able to find more things to rhyme words with. Like
true.
Because of the pattern, the different banter and the lingo that we've got, you can probably take liberties with saying like I can't imagine, I don't know, for example, Americans or something that rhymes with like, I don't know, paw. Over here you could say maw. You know what I mean? Like there's like you could take there's certain liberties you could take with just like the lingo that we have here.
I mean, one thing I do want to say is like even if for like the rest of my life I'll be classed as one, I don't really want to be classed as a Scottish rapper because you wouldn't call someone like Eminem that's an American rapper. You know what I mean? For me personally, I just want to. I've always just said this. I just want to make music. I don't really mess with like a whole lot of like I don't think I could ever do like anything like a diss track or anything. You know what I mean? I just love like soundscapes and music. My favorite thing ever with music is sampling, like samples in their music. Like early Kanye stuff is like really good.
What, you sampling Kanye or Kanye?
No, like I'm talking about like his music.
Right,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like he samples all the time. Like I just like that's like one of my favorite things, and I feel like.
Mate,
like,
I actually swear, like, see through hip hop is where I got a large chunk of my music taste. It was either for me hearing a song and being like, what originally was that? Because obviously you could tell it's a sample or and whatnot, or it would be like me listening to a song and like my mom or my dad being like, that song was out like 30 years ago. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. This is like whatever year. And they're like, no, the song in the background, there's a sample of.
Right, yeah.
And they'll be like, check it out. And then I'll listen to it and I'll be like, holy shit. Like, this is the real deal.
I absolutely love that type of stuff. And it's, one of my favorite examples would be Every Day by A$AP Rocky. It's technically a sample, but I never thought it was. He is featured in the track, but like Rod Stewart is on the song. It's like a sample of like an old Rod Stewart song, but it just fits in.
Is that Every Day I'm Shuffling?
Nah, that's it's just, I think this
I'm so out of the loop. Like, fucking hell. I'm like 31 and I've fucking no got a clue, mate.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can check it out if you want to. It's just called Every Day by A$AP Rocky. But Rod Stewart is someone that my mum loves, and that like I played that song in the car and my mum was like, is that Rod Stewart? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That type of thing I love because it's just like, I think that's one of the best things about rap and hip hop. It's like it's just kind of blends everything. Yeah. Like most pop stars, they don't never know. Did you ever notice this? Pop stars will never feature other pop stars on a track. Taylor Swift wouldn't get like Beyonce on a song, but they would get someone like Drake or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's like there. It's I don't know. I just love that.
Like back in the day, there was some fucking terrific collabs. Like one that comes to mind is. Phil Collins.
I know Phil Collins.
The song Easy Lover. The other guy on it was Philip Bailey from a band called Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh, I know Earth, Wind and Fire.
Fucking amazing. Same with Michael Jackson. He was on a track with Stevie Wonder.
Oh yeah, I've heard that song.
Good Friends, I think it's called, off the Bad album. It's fucking goated. So back in the day, but like now it's probably, I don't know, a bit more selfish. There's more of a selfish mentality. But
thing.
Like I don't know if it's just because it's the music industry that I live in now, but like for me, I'm not really interested in pop music now. I'm not taking anything away from them. Like my missus, she listens to like fucking, Harry Styles. I like a few of his songs actually. Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, and I just don't get it. Like I know it's like something like my mum says, or my parents say. I'll be like, "Oh, you're so lucky to have like been brought up in that generation with that music," and they're like, "You don't think that at the time. It's only when you get older you appreciate it for what it is."
I was like. I asked my mum like a bit ago. I was like, "Mum, was like the 90s all it was cracked up to be like music wise? Was it like the best time for music?" And because I mentioned people like, "Oh, and you had like Nirvana coming up. You had all like the 90s rappers and stuff."
Oasis
and she was like, that was not the stuff playing on the radio.
No.
And she was like, and I was like, well, what was? And it was like EDM tech, like shit, like definition shit.
Yeah.
It's just like dun dun dun
Well,
dun.
like the
dun,
UK
dun.
in that period was in the early 90s anyway, was like heavy dance
Yeah,
music.
apparently it was just like every day you turn on radio, it was just the same old, same old. And I'm like,
But it's the same now. If you
Yeah.
put it on the radio now, it's just the same
do you-
old, same old.
But do you think like people will be like reminiscing in like 20 years time? They'll be like, oh, that was like the golden generation.
They will. Like,
Yeah.
but like, see, for me, like maybe what you would say was should have been like my peak years of being into popular music was like maybe I don't know the early 2010s when I first started going out clubbing and that. But see, when I hear some of those songs, I'm like, that's fucking shit. Like,
Yeah.
Rihanna and all that.
To be fair, I do get behind some Rihanna songs. I can't lie.
God, I just Nicki Minaj. That was she was so popular. I was like, that's fucking.
I mean,
awful.
it might be different because we're different times, but like for someone like early Rihanna, like Nicki Minaj, all that type of stuff, Bruno Mars, all this stuff. This is like what I was like brought.
It's probably
up with.
nostalgic to you.
Yeah,
When you
very
hear it,
much
it's
so.
probably
I mean,
nostalgic for you.
What's it? I mean, like we do parties and stuff, and like all the songs are like Katy Perry, like all
Yeah,
that
see,
type
that
of
was
stuff.
my nightmare.
Yeah, but like that's like the thing, because like to us, like this is just like, oh, we love
The
this.
thing is
stuff,
as
you know
well,
what I
like
mean?
there was like difference. So like when I was about that age, I was like right into my metal and hip hop. Like those were like my genres at that time. But my brother, who was a few years younger, he was like right into pop music. He still is now. He's probably one of the biggest music fans
Yeah.
I know. Like I remember like when we were younger, I'd go, it'd be me, my brother, and my mum. We would go to like, I don't know, Woolworths, for example.
Oh, yeah, I remember
And
that.
I was mad into my wrestling. So I'd be buying up all the fucking wrestling figures.
Oh, yeah.
And then for whatever
Had
amount
my
my
face.
mum was spending on me on figures, she'd give the same to my brother. But he was buying like £1-2 singles. And he would come home with just like a massive bag of them. Like he was right into music.
Yeah.
Like, that is weird. So that kind of music for the early 2000s, I feel nostalgic for that because I remember my brother playing it all the time. But it makes me wonder if I was like 18 then, would have I thought it was shit as much as I think like the early 2010s was fucking awful
Yeah.
because at the time, I could not stand that music at that time. It was horrendous. Even when I listen to it now or I hear it, I'm like, oh, it's fucking awful.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it's like, as like obviously a younger person, it's like the exact opposite.
so you're nostalgic for it.
Yeah, I mean, we made a joke. There was like this TikTok going about. It was like, when like this is like a core memory type thing. It was like when your parents are having a house party and you think it's finally ended because it just turned 2 a.m. and then all of a sudden it's like Red Wine by UB40 comes on. You know what I mean? Because that's like, and like that was a joke. So we made a version of it, and it's like, oh, my kids in 20 years when it's 2 a.m. and they finally think all the adults have went home, and then it's like it goes from like Firework by Katy Perry into like the LMFAO party rock anthem, because like those will be the songs that like we'll be like playing when we're like in our 40s, 50s.
I remember like
having our parties and stuff.
It was something around that time period. Who the fuck were those guys? Was it Lonely Island? You remember them?
I know the Lonely Island.
And we were fucking absolutely blutered. And it was the first time I'd heard them. I was at a house party and this guy put them on and he was like, do you not think it's mad in like 60, 70 years time there's actually going to be folk funerals and that's the song they're requesting?
Yeah.
Like, I'm on a boat doing flips and shit. And I'm like, it fucking will be. It will be. Like now it's like Stevie Wonder and shit, but like fucking in 56 years time it'll be like, I want to die when I get buried. It's Lonely Island playing in the background. Like,
I mean, if I
the
could
way it
have,
is.
if I could have like one song played at like my funeral, I would always want. I feel like something really dark would be quite funny if it was like "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead" would be kind of funny, but like an actual like pick, something like, I don't know, "Drum and Bass Father" by Devilman. You might not know it, but I just would know that people would be digging me up if that song came on. Like,
digging you up. We're not finished for you, mate.
yeah, you had to get me up for one last round of Ragatonic when that song comes on.
Well.
I don't know, but yeah.
So, obviously, you're into your music and that. Have you gone to like other gigs? Like, have you seen some of your favorite artists?
So Sadly, I haven't been to nearly as many as I'd like to go to. And one of the ones I went to late 2022 is Kendrick Lamar, and I really wish I would have went like it was happening this year because I was not.
Wait,
that
what?
big.
Did you go?
Yeah, I did go.
Oh, but you're not a big
but
fan of him then?
I was like, so my brother was a huge fan. I think he still is. He loves his albums, but I'd heard of his hits and I did like them, but I was always like, oh, Kendrick Lamar's albums are just like shit, you know, because it's just like they have like the big hits, but then the rest of the songs are just kind of. And then I don't know what it was, but like some point this year, I've just got it. You know what I mean? I've just got it. And I'm remembering being at that concert, thinking about all the songs I didn't know the lyrics to, or like all of like the cool visual stuff he did with like the songs.
So, what is he your favorite then?
Nah, he's not my favorite. My favorite's Lil Wayne, who I'll only ever be able to see if I leave the UK, because he was going to be playing in Cambridge in like last year, but he came across, so I didn't get tickets. I was pissed off I didn't get tickets, but I was like, you know what, he'll go on a tour, he'll come back. He came to the UK, lol, because he had a gun charge from 2012 and he's still not allowed in, and he's never going to be allowed in the UK, so I'm going to have to go. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll happily go across. Like, when I start making real money, and I really will save up.
You ever been to America before?
No, I was meant to go at some point, but it just never happened. But I would love to go. I think in terms of cities I'd like to go to, I mean, New York's obvious. I'd love to go to Chicago, like, to be honest with you. I feel like it's got loads of culture. I mean, obviously it's got like the, you know, stuff that you don't want to see, but like, and just in general, it's got loads of culture. And then San Francisco, like all that type of
Get
Miami.
yourself to
I'd love
Vegas,
to go to
mate.
Vegas.
Get yourself to Vegas. That'll turn you into a fucking man.
I've always
turn you into a man. That place is fucking insane.
Have you been there before?
Oh, yes. It was fucking unreal.
Is it really just gambling, or is it like,
no,
do you not do that? Like, that much?
No, like, see,
because I feel like everyone thinks it's just, you go to Vegas rich and you come out poor because all the gambling.
Like, that does go on, right? Don't get me wrong, that shit does go on. So before I went, my dad was getting married there, right? So
cool.
I was
what a weird place to get married, in my opinion.
Right? He got married by Vegas. By Elvis as well. Like
wait, is that actually a real thing? I thought that was fake.
Right, this is crazy, right? Yeah. So I originally thought that Vegas was just gambling, right? Yeah. I went there to open my eyes to fucking so much shit. It was like, went over there on the same night I seen Rammstein, Korn, and Stone Sour on the same night. It was fucking insane.
What were they playing at? Like, where? Like,
it was is it the T-Mobile or E3 Arena or whatever the fuck it is in Vegas? Like, it's it's like bigger than the Hydro. It's fucking huge. And my dream, I was a massive Korn fan when I was younger, so my dream was to see Korn in America, like see where they're from.
Yeah, of course.
And it was fucking mental. Yeah, like it was good. But the Elvis thing with the marriage, right? So on the day they got married, I went downstairs and like my dad was at the bar because he was like shitting himself, like shaking and that. He was like, I'm just going to drink Bloody Marys until I'm pissed before I need to go in. I was like, you'll be fine. So as he's doing that, this woman's come up to us with like a camera and all that shit.
Yeah, of course.
And like a notepad. And she was like, I noticed you are all in the same outfits. Any of you's getting married? And my dad was like, yeah, it's me getting married. She was like, do you mind if I take some photos? I'm writing up an article about marriages in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And my dad was like, yeah, of course. Just make sure you get a good picture of us all in that. And she was like, I will. So at the end of it, and go online because it will still be there. You'll still be able to find it.
Oh, yeah.
So my dad was like saying to her, like, oh, what's the paper it's going to be in? And she said the name. We went out after he got married. We got fucking shit-faced. And it was the next day. My dad was like, have you seen what they wrote about us in the paper? I was like, no, what? And he says, have a look at this. He had the paper and it was like, the decline of marriages in Vegas or something like that. And it was just a whole fucking hit piece on how shit it is to get married in Vegas. There's a picture of all of us like pure cheesing with Elvis at the end. Like,
and then they're just been like, it's absolutely disgraceful that people would ever think to get married like this.
That was fucking amazing. That was so good. But no, Vegas
was it actually alright though? Like getting married by Elvis or whatever. Like, was it a good wedding?
Oh, it was crazy. So like, we were all sat in there. Well, there was like, I don't know, 10 of us or something. We were sat in there. And my dad was standing there waiting for his missus to come out. And his missus is standing there. And nothing was happening, and then out of nowhere, music started playing. Fucking door gets booted open, and walking down the island. I was like, oh, it's the real deal. Like, I just thought he'd just be standing there, dressed as
it's just for like the photo,
marrying them, but it's the whole deal. Doing all that shit and fucking. It was fucking bizarre, man. It was bizarre.
It sounds like it would be bizarre.
It was bizarre. Like, I just wish I was on like fucking acid or mushrooms or something, because I've been like sucked into another fucking dimension if that was the case. But it's unreal. Like, the party does not stop there.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to get a T-bone steak at 5 a.m, you can get a T-bone steak at 5 a.m. Like, it's just non-stop.
It's an expensive place to go though, isn't it?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like it was like, okay, I'll save up for the like. I can like he's been across the country quite a lot of times by himself, and he's always like, all right, I'm just covered for the cost of the planes and that. If you're going to Vegas, it would be like you would need double the amount of the flights and some. You know what I mean?
Like, everywhere you go is just extortionate, unless like you get chatting to the locals. So there was like a bar that we were going to every night. It was called a Halo Bar, and it was inside a shopping centre, which is weird. So if you picture like walking around any shopping centre, there was just like a bar in the middle. And we got pally with a lassie who worked there. And it was a couple of days in, she started giving us deals like, you know, I don't know, like freaking 6 bottles of Corona for like $15 rather than $30 or whatever it was. So she was brand new. She loved us. And it was one day I was just like, look, I'm no joking, but I was like, there's no way that, because over there they work for tips. So I was like, I didn't mean.
Wait, is that how that works?
Yeah. Like, so obviously they'll get a pay, but they might get, I don't know, like $4 or $5 an hour.
Is it like, do they get to like take their own tips? Or
and then they make tips on top of that. So like, you have to tip everywhere you go. So I said to her, I said, look, I don't mean to be offensive, but I says like, how the fuck could someone who actually works here in, you know, that industry that you're in and be able to afford to drink? Like, there's no way that you're drinking somewhere like that. And she says, well, what is it you're actually looking for? And I was like, I want somewhere cheap bevy, I want karaoke, I want a party atmosphere, I don't want any tourists, I just want like locals in that. Where'd you advise? And she says, I know just the place for you. She says, it's about a 10-minute walk, it's called Ellis Island. If you go in there, that's got everything you need. And we walked in there, and I went up to the bar, and I was like, can I get 2 pints? Because it was a brewery. It's a brewery, hotel, and casino all in the one, right? Cool. And I went up to the bar, and I says, can I get 2 pints? She was like, yeah, no worries. It was $4 for 2 pints, but she gave me 4. It was happy hour from like 4 in the afternoon till 10 at night or something like that. It was fucking carnage. All locals, there was no messing about, karaoke till like stupid o'clock in the morning. Like, it was fucking unreal, man. And I didn't do anything on that holiday apart from stay in Ellis Island after that.
You guys hearing this? Like,
oh, it's unreal. It's unreal, honestly. It was amazing. And like, and even like now, I still say to my dad, I was like, for a holiday in like one of the biggest cities in the world, like well renowned, I can't believe we just sat on Ellis Island. For it was 2 weeks. I
assume you would never want it any different.
It was no. I wouldn't say. I would not change a thing. Like, it was just crazy, and like speaking to the locals in there as well. Like I said, like we didn't want tourists. Like, it was just like it was a hotel, right? So obviously you had like tourists staying in the hotel, but they were all out doing all the fucking Instagram shit, and taking pictures and all that fucking nonsense. So like when we're chatting to locals. And they're like, oh, so how long are you guys here for? We're like, 2 weeks. And they're like, what? 2 weeks in Vegas? Are you fucking crazy? And we're like, really? Is that fucking crazy? Yeah, it turns out it was. But amazing. Just don't go too wild. Like, I
mean, you can hear those stories of people who go to Vegas. They're doing absolutely fine. They just go for the trip, and they're generally sitting like living in the fucking casino lobbies and stuff. I was like years on because they can't leave.
I was chatting to one guy in the hotel I was staying at. It was the Excalibur Hotel, and it was like 3-4 in the morning or something like that. I went up to the bar to get a drink, and there was a guy sitting next to me, like miserable as fuck. So I was like, "Hey, you all right, pal?" And he goes, "I'll be fine." And I says, "You want a drink?" And he says, "Aye, get me a drink." So I got him like a bottle of Corona or something, whatever it was we were drinking. And I was like, "So what's your story then?" And he was like, well, I'm going back, a single man. I've lost my house. I've lost my children. I've lost my wife. He spunked everything in the casino, eh? He said he'd been there for fucking days.
Did he do the classic, like, one of his mates was like, oh, go on, bet your house. And he was like, fucking yeah, I'll bet my house.
He was by himself. He was literally sitting there by himself. I don't know who he was
how did he
with.
fucking bet his house?
Oh, it'd be like savings, eh? Just
right.
Your whole thing's just fucking gone. Like I reckon if I spunked all my savings, I'd be like, right, the house needs to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and then obviously your family you'd be like, what?
So he's like,
and then they
I've lost everything.
They wouldn't trust you either for what you were doing.
So I mean, I can understand how folk can get caught up in it, but what I done was I had X amount a day to spend on gambling, and if I lost it, that'd be me done. So what I would do is if I put, I don't know, like a $20 bet down on, I don't know, fucking roulette or whatever, and I won like, I don't know, 40 quid or whatever, I would take my initial stake back. So then I'm just gambling free money after that. So you never lose anything. But there is people you see over there, it's just like $100 bill, $100 bill, $100 bill, and they just keep winning and losing.
I mean, the one thing I think about is like my parents always told me, like, if you're ever going to a casino, only bring the amount that you're ready to lose. But like I'm thinking there, it's like, so let's say I put down like 100 quid. Let's say I brought like 200 or something. I'm like, I'm ready to lose 200. I put down 100, and then you make back profit. Like, is there such thing as being like, I mean, obviously there is, but do you really be like, you know what, I've just made back profit and I've had a pretty good time. Should I just go and take that? Like, is that even such a thing? I feel like nearly, like, I think like over half, like, of the people that would like go into a casino, let's say they want a profit, and be like, I can use that to make more profit. You know what I mean?
Oh, like this, but that's like gamblers for you. So like, I would say like times like I like gambling on the football. It's like, I don't know, I've won like 500, 600 quid.
That's not bad.
There's a part of me that goes, do I stick it in savings or just spunk it all on something to see what happens? And 9 times out of 10, it's always a bad result. But it's, the way I see it is it's free money. As long as, I've always said, as long as you take back what you've put in, you're just gambling with free money. It makes the football a bit more exciting as well, especially if it's going to be a shite game. Like, it makes it a bit more exciting. But be safe with it. Like, go too crazy.
I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I get money yet, you know what I mean? I work a job, don't get me wrong. I think it pays quite well, you know. For
what is it you do, if you don't mind asking?
This is going to be a crazy thing. Take a guess what job I do and think well out there. I come from a countryside area, so that might help you out a bit.
You're not a farmer, are you?
Family's in agriculture, so that'll help you out. So
what's agriculture?
Agriculture, you know, just animals, farming, all that stuff.
I don't know.
I milk cows. That is actually my job.
Do you milk cows?
And it's not with my family. Well, it is with my family, but it's not with my family. It's with my uncle and that. That's the job I do at the moment.
Right.
My dad just gave me it because, you know, being in like farming background, it's quite easy to get work. You know, be like, oh, you know what? Go and like, here's like a job, and it's just working for my uncle, but pays better than any other job I've ever worked. You know what I mean? Like I used to do like seasonal jobs at like a Christmas place and that, where I'd like, and it didn't pay nearly as good as what I'm doing now. But yeah, no, I mean, it's not the most conventional job. I think maybe the reason it pays so well is because no one wants to do it. You know what I mean? It's not.
The thing is, as well, you don't need to deal with anyone either, do you?
Well,
You just need to deal with cows.
I literally go in there. I'll tell you this right now. It's one of the best ways to actually give me ideas for music. Only thing is, sometimes I think of like a song idea or like a chorus or something. You can't note it down, and you've forgotten it by the time you got home and I just shower. But I usually just put in a headphone and I just catch up on albums I'm missing out on or like I need to hear. I mean, I'm probably the first rapper, I'm not going to say in the world, but let's definitely say in Scotland to milk cows as his job. But you know what? I mean, it's like, I'm not going to, again, I can't pretend what my background is. Parents are in farming and that, so it's like, this is what I do. I don't know if my parents really do support me in my music. I'll give them like, you know, like I have to praise them for that. You know, they come to all my shows, like they let me do this. Like that's crazy to think like some people's parents probably wouldn't like be behind it. But no, they've done me really well. So if this is what I have to do as like a side hustle, I guess at the moment. Because I mean, I have flexible shifts. You
need to be realistic, I think, with like stuff like that. Like there'd be a lot of people out there that would not do any other work rather than what you would say would be a side hustle.
Yeah,
like it'd be stupid for me to sack my real job and to go full time on YouTube with like my side hustle.
Yeah, of course.
So like at least you're realistic. Like have fun with it, of course, but didn't leave everything
Well,
behind to pursue something that
I'm
you
not
might
gonna
not
lie,
make your
I've
money in.
made money off music. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably nothing. To me, it feels like it's everything. But just literally last week opened up a savings account and every profit I've made off my music, I'm just gonna put into there now. And it doesn't mean
Smart move.
and it doesn't
Very
mean that I'm
smart.
going to be spending it, but I feel like it's one of those things that means I can keep track of what I've made, like money wise. Because I mean, there's like about 70 quid which I did spend before I opened this up, which I did make from my music. But like, you know, after that, I've put in the money that I've been making, and I think, I don't know. It's one of in my heart. It doesn't really. I feel like I could be spending that money, but I do just buy a lot of shit. Not that much, but it's like, you know, you kind of just. I'm quite good at saving money, I think, but I do always I just like spending. I mean, I came in here with like loads of stuff I don't need, you know what I mean? But it's like, so I'm happy. I'm just gonna separate my music funds, and I don't know what I'll spend it on, but I'm sure it'll help me out in the long run because. I don't know if this is. I don't even know if I can say this or not, but I assume I can. As of Monday, I'm actually getting a manager. I go to college and like I had to do like a big presentation, and because they like business students, they need to like manage an artist, and I guess my tutor who's he's actually plays. I assume you might know these bands. One of them's played in like a member of Aztec Camera. And the other one's a
Aztec
member of the
Camera.
Bluebells.
Yeah.
Like
Bluebells,
like they're
Young
quite
at
so
Heart.
so they've definitely like have careers. Like they're the right
Yeah.
people. So they pick me. Like it's so weird because their music's nothing like this. But they said they saw quite a lot of me, so they got me up, and then I hopefully have like this management opportunity. I had to explain to like these people, and they were writing everything down. Really stressful, honestly.
Yeah,
But like eventually, just a couple of days later, a guy reached out to me. He was really interested in managing. So hopefully, me putting aside some money and stuff that will just help me out because I don't know how
Absolutely.
entirely it's gonna work, but. All things considered, I mean, I feel like I'd be stupid not taking it up because I mean, you know, it's not going to cost anything at the moment. You know,
But did you say these guys used to manage Aztec Camera?
no, they're members.
So they're members.
So one of them's called Campbell Owens.
Right.
I don't know if he's seen this. I will definitely be telling him I was on this podcast.
Yeah.
But he was on. He's a member of Aztec Camera, and I don't know if they're just fill-ins or if they were actually part of it. But like the Bluebells and another band, they perform with them as much as I
Young
know.
at
Maybe
Heart.
they're members.
That's one I fucking love that tune. Young at
Yeah.
Heart.
So yeah, no, they're definitely like really successful, and both of them, like all my tutors at college, are really really good. Like they've just like helped me immensely. Like because like I guess they give me college gigs, but like they're just like really they just really support me more than like I feel like a lot of people have, and it's quite weird because they're not from that background whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's just quite good because obviously I'm younger, so any support's really good, and it's quite good just from people that I'm literally going and seeing like multiple times a week with my college and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just pretty happy with this.
Good.
Everyone that's hopefully.
You got a lot going for you and a lot ahead of you as well.
I hope so. I mean, the way I see it, I'm 17, so and like a lot of like, I'm not gonna say you're ever too old to be doing anything, but a lot of people who are, I mean, we're going to see Pete. I don't know if you've heard of these rappers, Pete and Bass. They're these 80, 70-year-old, 80-year-old rappers, and they're really quite popular.
Right.
They actually have really good music, and we're seeing them live in Glasgow in like just like a month.
Right.
So, you know, you're obviously never told to be able to do something, but the way I see it, I'm 17 years old. A lot of the people in the scene, like in the Scottish rap scene and stuff, they're in their 20s plus. So by the time they're in their 30s and that, or like plus, I'll just be their age. So that gives me like I feel, someone said this to me, it says because of college, I have about 5 years to actually like live it easy, and then eventually just get booted into like first gear, which I'm, you know, which in one way it makes me feel kind of good because it's like, phew, that means I don't need to think about too much at the moment. But in the other way, it's like, well, I don't want to take things easy, but I don't want to be straining myself or anything. I want to, but
Yeah, well, use this period you've got now as time to learn your craft.
So many people have said to me they wish that they started doing music at my age, and I'm not even saying I'm doing it better than everyone else. I mean, obviously I'm gonna have a bit of bias, who wouldn't? But
No, you need to big yourself up. Like,
yeah, of course.
come
I
on.
mean, I actually do think I'm doing quite well. People seem to think so as well. So you know, that's like the main thing. But I don't know. It's like I feel like I've given myself a lot. I've like just because of my age, I've given myself a lot of time to just have trial and error. I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? and I still have like a lot of time to keep going. So
Oh, brilliant.
yeah, that's,
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap this up because
It's absolutely fine.
I got a wee hand signal from the producer over there saying because we like to keep our episodes to about an hour or something.
that's absolutely fine.
I always end the episode by asking guests if you enjoyed being on here.
If I could come on again, I easily would. I've really enjoyed talking to you today.
No.
I didn't realize I was going to be laughing as much as I did. I'll be completely honest.
No,
You-
like
you know
that's,
what I mean?
that's what I said to
I
you.
don't
I
know.
said,
You always think that it's going to be like you go in, and then it's going to be like a boardroom. It's like that. It's like you're going into like The Apprentice. It's like Alan Sugar staring you down. He's been like, "Right, tell me about yourself."
Well,
But it's not. It's so laid
no,
back.
that's what I always say. I guess like especially when you were saying like, oh, I don't know how I feel about coming on. I'm like, it's not a job interview.
Yeah.
like it's just laid back. Like I'm like. Obviously, I'm like 31, but I always just think the guests I get on, I'm just like you.
Yeah,
Apart
of
from I'm
course.
not in a band, I don't
I
make music.
absolutely
Like,
think so.
I just like chatting shit about music. Like
Yeah.
that's like all I really know.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I could chat to anyone about music, but like you said, you're more than welcome to come on whenever you want.
Yeah,
Like,
how about we give it a year and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
man, you might be a millionaire in a year's time.
You might be a millionaire.
Nah.
Things are already. You've only been up for a couple of months and you're already on like 500 subs. Like, that's
Crazy.
crazy. And no, obviously, like it's gotten to a point where people like me are reaching out to come onto your show.
Yeah.
That must be kind of crazy. Like people coming to ask to come on.
You know, it's
Yeah.
it's
Like it's one of those things you wouldn't think about. You know what I mean?
No, like it is mad. Like I've had folk pop up on like my Instagram being like, I really like what you're doing, blah blah blah, and I'm like, this is fucking crazy. I'm like, people are reaching out to me. Like,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
mad.
I mean,
But
I just
I
saw-
always like, even though it's like they're reaching out to me, I always try and make it clear from the start with the messages, like I am like you. I'm not bigger than you. I'm not this and I'm not that.
I can
like I am the
completely
exact
vouch to
same.
that,
Like, you can, yeah, I
completely.
hope so because I'm not. I don't know what's is formal the word. Like
I mean,
I'm not like
you know,
that.
it's
Like,
definitely it's not the most serious. Like it's definitely semi-formal, I guess. But like it's not like there's pressure.
I'm just
It's
like sound mate. I'll give you a date. I'll speak to
exactly.
you soon.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's
there's
like
none of that kind regards shite. Or
yeah,
fuck
of
all like
course
that.
not. Of course not.
Nothing like that. But no, it's yeah. Of course, it's nice if you've got folk out there that watch what you do. It's great. And
It's like the
then
same-
I'd say I wouldn't have this opportunity if it wasn't for Crookie. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
he's
big ups to him as well. You know what I
he's
mean?
a man as well, eh? So, like I say, unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap it up. But
absolutely fine.
where can people find you?
Where can people find me? So I'm on Instagram. I should be under Kenny Mgee. I'm on every streaming service that my distributors let me go up
Assume
to.
you've got a link tree of some kind on your
My
profile.
links are in my bio on my Instagram. So if you look up Kenny Mgee on Instagram, you should find me. But you can go on Spotify, Apple Music, or like whatever you listen to your music on. You can look up Kenny Mgee. I don't have any songs out this year so far, but hopefully. I
It's only the
definitely
start
have
of the
things.
year,
I
it's only the
definitely have
start of the
things
year.
lined up. Definitely have things lined up. But yeah, I mean, you guys can check me out. I mean, on my Instagram, I just post whatever I'm doing. I don't know if you had a look for it, but I'm just, it's just again similar to this, just laid back. No point being serious. I'll like you have to just be yourself. You know what I mean?
So
But yeah,
100%.
yeah, you can just check me out on that. So that's about it,
100%.
really.
So you all right if I wrap it up?
Of course, I can.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, thanks for watching this episode of Ear Candy, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.